There you go. Hey, it's Hump Day. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am your host, Scott Steehn, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com, joined as always by the always affable
Scott Reichel, senior handicapper of winnersandwhiners.com.
And together we do this each and every day, a little thing we call heading back to the window with Scott and Scott, because that's what we aim to help you to do in a perilous journey that the bookmakers and odds makers have set many traps along the way. So we're trying to see if we can get through there. So nice to be here, everybody. Happy Hump Day. Good to see some folks out there in the comment section already. Bryce Multane checking in. Nathan Cerna, James S. What's up, guys? How is everything? Scott, how you doing up there in Long Island?
Doing okay. Been catching up on some shows that I've been falling behind on. Mostly Better Call Saul. As for the gambling, it's been perilous. Had a couple of, let's just say, games that didn't work out for the past, I'd say, week and change.
Yep.
I had Ball State first half yesterday. They did their part defensively because Northern Illinois can't score. And they made 1 3-pointer in the entire first half.
That hurts.
They're not going to cover laying points doing that.
That hurts. Super Sly in the house, King me around. I see, says Hawks line feels trappy. I'll talk about that here in a minute. Scott, we got a big snowstorm coming here in Kansas City. Watched the weather last night. It says we're going to get from 1 to 10 inches. What the fuck is that? It's like a woman going on a Tinder date and hooking up. You're going to get 1 to 10 inches. Congratulations.
I was going to make a similar joke, but you delivered it, so I got nothing more to add.
Camels playing today on Hump Day. Scott, Mike. All right, so let's start off. Let's do a couple here, but before we do, we'll talk about. We'll get all the housekeeping and stuff out of the way. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, and there'll be serious consequences today. No liking and subscribing. Reichel's letting the beard grow. He's going to be full on rabbi here in about 3 months. How long does that take you?
Rabbi's my grandfather, but no, I'm just regular.
What'd you shave yesterday morning?
No, I shaved. I don't know, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. How long are you gonna let that go, buddy?
I don't know. I'm kind of comfortable.
Okay. All right. Very good. Are you gonna trim it and keep it that level? Or are you just gonna let it fly?
I'm gonna let it fly and see what happens.
You gonna let the mustache grow too? You might want to get started on that.
That's the issue, is that no matter what I do with the mustache, this is like the best it gets.
Well, you gotta just shave
doesn't really grow into
You gotta just shave the mustache and go full on Amish, buddy.
That I don't know if I can pull off.
Oh, Jebediah, you crack me up. So, of course. So yeah, definitely like and subscribe. Check out my pal Chris King and Jim Williams, my pals over there, as they do just parlays every day, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. And, of course, join us tomorrow for the Elimination Chamber WWE show. I'm going to be doing WWE research tonight, Scott. I'm pretty excited. We're joined by Dave the Dominator Hess. And then Friday, can we say due to popular demand?
Yeah, we can say that.
Like 4 people? We're going to do a NASCAR show on Friday and talk about that. It also is an Elimination Chamber at Daytona as well, so that'll be weird.
Are we going to have an actual recurring title for the NASCAR show?
If you got something, yeah, if you got a name or somebody's got a name, by all means, throw it in there for sure. And as always, don't forget to check out our pals over there at, everybody's my pal today, our friends over at BetMGM. They got a great deal going at all the states where they are in right now. Scott, you bet $10 in any NBA game. If anybody, I don't care who it is, if they make a 3-pointer, you're good for not large, but you're good for $200. It doesn't pay $200,000. That'd be pretty good, though. You bet $10, get $200,000 if somebody gets a 3-pointer.
That's a lot of accounts.
Still a good deal. Still getting 20 to 1 on somebody making a 3-pointer. So definitely check out our friends over there at MGM. All the information is in the show description and show notes. Got the links and everything there. So check them out. Of course, must be in your state, and you must be 21 to participate. And if you have a gambling problem, please seek help. All right, Scott, somebody checked in early to ask us about the Purdue game. I like it when people check in early. So that is the first one we'll do. Bryce Multane, Scott, Purdue going tonight, hitting the road. What do you think, bud?
Well, they're a lot better than Northwestern. The issue is that Purdue had a pretty abysmal week. Is that one way to put it? I mean, They beat Maryland, so it could have been worse. They barely beat Maryland. It wasn't easy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you that much, but I'm actually going to go on a bit of a bold call here. I'm going to take Northwestern. I feel like Purdue's a team that could easily win against any conference opponent by like 15 plus, but they never do. And I'm not going to point fingers, Matt Painter, but for some reason they can't figure it out. I'm not really sure what it is, but I'm going to go with Northwestern. They're going to give me points with the Big Ten team. It's mostly just because Purdue was so bad this past week. It seems like they're in the middle of being, let's just say, overvalued by the odds makers. I think Northwestern's alive in this spot. You
got to think so. You got to think getting 6. This is a Purdue team that had that horrific game against Michigan, losing by, were they 24-25 in that one. Like you said, they barely beat Maryland. It came nowhere near covering. They win by 1 as a 13.5 point or 16.5 point chalk. Yeah, I like this Purdue team, Scott. I think their record should be a lot better than it is because they've got a tremendous inside-out game. I don't know anybody that has the talent inside and outside that Purdue does, but
Painter's an idiot.
Yet every day they go out there and step on, or so many times they go out there and just step on their dick. So
did you see the end of that Maryland game? By the way,
no.
It was an all-timer when it came to Matt Painter's stupidity. They had the ball with 2 seconds left, up 1. They're inbounding under the basket, so they tried to run the double inbound pass. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Where you have 2 guys standing out of bounds, you pass it to 1, and you're allowed to do whatever.
Yep.
So they did it. The refs blew it dead because the clock stopped early or something. And the refs warned Painter, saying that you have your guy moving before he inbounds the ball. If you do it again, we're going to call a travel. And Painter called the exact same inbound play, and they got called for a travel. And Maryland got the ball back.
Jesus.
They didn't score on the final play, so Purdue ended up winning. But he called the same inbound play after the refs warned him that it would be a turnover if they called the same play. So he just handed Maryland the ball with a stopped clock turnover with 2 seconds left. I've never seen that before in my life. It was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen.
Deserve to lose.
They won, but that's the point. Painter just decided to punt the game.
Danny Daniels in the house. I don't know that we've seen Danny before. Thanks for checking in, Danny. Danny's got Miami tonight, the U, -1.5, and versus Louisville in the over. He's asking about that.
Louisville, of course, at home is somewhat tempting until you realize they're 3-10 ATS at home. They suck. I'm trying to figure out a positive way to talk about Louisville. I can't. Can you?
They used to be good.
I mean, they got rid of their coach mid-season. They bought him out, so they paid him money to leave the program. The replacement came in. They play hard. They don't win games, but they play hard. Miami's a team that was definitely peaking earlier in the year. They're still 18-7. They're probably making the tournament.
10-4 against the number in conference.
Yeah, and they're 6-2 straight up and 6-2 ATS on the road. So I feel like Maryland's the move. Solely just because Louisville's been a disaster.
You mean Miami?
They're not Maryland, sorry. Yeah, Miami's the move, but that's pretty much just because Louisville is just an absolute disaster.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Miami's covered 5 of the last 6 on the road. I don't hate it. It's definitely Miami or pass.
Yeah. There's no way I'm taking Louisville.
As far as the total goes, I don't know.
Over.
Where are we at here? What's the number? 140.
142. I could see it being close throughout. I don't think it's going to be a blowout or anything like that, but you might see some scramble points. I see this game being pretty close to the number,
okay.
So I'm not going to play the total. But if it's close and I think there'll be scramble points, I'm going to lean to the over.
Put it this way, I feel stronger about Miami than I do about playing a total in this game.
I agree.
No question about it. And the Purdue game, by the way, that's one of those games where you could seriously look like you have egg on your face because they're, on paper, 20 points better than Northwestern?
Definitely feels that way, of course. Then again, if you want to lay points on the road in Big Ten play, you got some cojones.
Or power to you.
For you.
Season's greetings, Steve Train. Nice. Nathan says it could be about time to jump back on the Purdue train. We'll find out after tonight. We'll see. If they can perform on the road against an inferior opponent and show me that they put the last 2 games behind them, then maybe. Texas Tech money line over Baylor. We were talking about that. Low Maxima. We'll do that one first. The Furman Western over-under went from 144 to 141. We were talking about the side on that game. Where are we at here? Check any injury news. You got any thoughts on that one, Scott?
The Furman game?
Uh-huh.
At this point, I can't take the under. I feel like you missed the boat on that one. I like the over. I'm just expecting Furman to walk into 80?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they're better at home than on the road, but Western Carolina can't stop anybody.
Yeah, they also can't score, and that's the problem, man.
How'd the first meeting go?
What did they do? 138. They scored.
Okay.
They put up 50 at Furman. Yeah, that's what because we were talking about taking Furman because Furman covered by 38 the first time around.
I was going to say Furman scored 88 though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that you'll see Furman probably score less, but Western Carolina score a decent amount more. I would check the injury news.
Yeah, I don't have any. Of course, I'm using StatFox again, so they're fucking dead to me.
Let me see what I got.
No, I'm looking at the grid now. I'm looking at best. I don't have anything. I got no injuries.
Okay. But either way, I feel like at this point, if you like the under, you kind of missed the boat on that. So I might be tempted to buy back towards an over.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think we're right in the face of a fucking sharp move too, because again, this is the time of day. This is the type of game where you're not getting guys just standing in line in Vegas to bet the fucking Furman West Carolina total. And to that point, I will say Western Carolina unders hit 8 of their last 9. So
okay.
Just saying. But for me, I'm with you. I think Furman could do a lot of the heavy lifting themselves. They're coming off, some bad offensive performances though against Chattanooga and Greensboro, where they put up 58 and 56.
I think my preferred option would be a team total for Furman.
Yeah.
If you think it's going to be a bit high scoring, you're expecting Furman to pretty much carry.
I don't. Do
you agree with that?
I don't disagree with that. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Nathan Center says, love fading Western Carolina. That is no shit. What else was somebody asking? Miami. Wyoming last night. Can't stand prosperity. Yeah, no shit, Ryan.
I have a conspiracy.
They're ranked for one day, and they're gone.
Yeah, I have a conspiracy about that type of spot there. I don't know if you've noticed it too. Have you noticed that mid-majors, whenever they're ranked for about the first time this season, just immediately lose the first game after?
Puked on their shoes, man. Yeah, absolutely.
That happens all the time.
Uh-huh.
I know that sounds like selective recall. It's really not.
It probably is.
All of the mid-majors that are ranked, or at least their first ranking in several years.
Well, give us some examples.
Immediately lose.
Give us some examples.
So earlier this year, Davidson
won
like 17 in a row.
Okay.
They were undefeated. They lost. You had the example yesterday where you ended up having, of course, Wyoming, who we really like, and they ended up falling apart. Was Murray State ranked earlier this year?
Yep, Murray State was absolutely ranked. I was thinking.
Did they lose the first game after, or they're ranked now?
I think they were. I think they're still ranked. As far as I think they're like 21. Because Wyoming was 22.
I'm trying to
right?
think of other examples that I have, but the point
was another big West team in there, Mountain West team in there? Was San Diego State or Boise State or Colorado State? Did they sneak in there and then get fucking hammered?
Colorado State, I think, did. But San Diego State, I don't know if I count them because realistically, they're in the top 25 at least once every year, right?
Is college basketball home court advantage the biggest home advantage in sports?
I think it is.
Yeah.
You can make an argument maybe for Power 5 college football if you actually have huge crowds like the 70K crowds in the SEC, but that's a conference or two. But I mean, for the most part, no. College basketball, I think, is the most important. Magellan's talking about Colorado State was ranked. They got absolutely destroyed by UNLV.
Yep, that's it, Magellan.
It's happened a lot this year. You look at the mid-major teams, and I don't know if they get all high and mighty or if they suddenly have a bigger target on their back. But it seems like they always just fall apart like as soon as they get ranked.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to matter who they play, like UNLV you're talking about there, or New Mexico last night. In the pit, Temple, which I don't know if that's the name or where they know you from, but they think you look better with the beard.
Thank you.
So,
the thing is, if I shave it, I look like I'm 17. But if I keep it, I look like I'm 23?
Maybe.
Give or take.
I'd still card you at the bar.
I had people that asked if I was 27 before. I don't know if I was flattered or offended. But I'll take it.
How old were you?
I was 24.
Oh, okay. Oh, so recently. All right.
Yeah, that's the point, though, is that it's a matter of do I want to get carded at the bar? Because with the beard, I never get carded, but without it, I get carded every time.
Fair enough. Brownsbacker wants to know what's the deal with Chris Paul. Can't hit threes, does not attempt, or just not that good from outside. What do you think?
I think he just realized that he
puts the under on his parlays every time. He says it's juice, but it hits.
Well, Chris Paul is still a pretty decent three-point shooter when he wants to be. The point is, with pick and roll, we know Chris Paul is it a fair statement to say he's a top 5, top 10 mid-range shooter of all time? So he just sticks to what works. You can say the same thing about DeRozan. DeRozan has had 30-plus points for pretty much the last 2 weeks. I think he's attempted 1-3 in his last 4 games combined.
Yep.
He just doesn't need it.
Nope. Bronco Devil said he played both Texas, Oklahoma over 60. Said it was a lot of juice, but not the farm play. The barn play. Nice. Heading back to the barn. That was a fun game. There was a little bit of sweat there. I was sweating that total a little bit midway through the second half. Well, we need about 3 points a minute. If they go dry for a couple minutes, we could be fucked. And then they just turned on
some fouls that went our way.
Turned on the Jets. We did. And we know it went into overtime and ended up massively over. But for the record, that did hit in regulation. It was 144 144 in reg, right? 130.
I believe
130,
so.
maybe 130. Maybe it was 134. Maybe it was 67, ended up in the 150s, right? Yeah.
I know it definitely wasn't in the 120s.
No. And
it went over by a decent amount at the end.
And for those of you that were part of the comment section and watched my video yesterday, I put up a number, Scott. I still don't fucking know how I did it. I put up 131.5 when the number was 144. I just...
Were you on the right side or the wrong side?
I was on the right side, and it still went over 144. So it was a grid play, and it was still hit. But I'm worried about my brain, dude. I'm honestly starting to worry about my brain just a little bit, because I don't know if I just looked at a different game. I usually double check it with Best. I don't know, man. Don't know.
I don't know.
Obviously not taking a shot. Like I said, I get 800,000 views a day, whatever. I can't put up bad numbers. I can't bullshit, because fucking people watch them, and people commented like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I get it. I totally would be fucking calling me out too." So,
having said that,
yes,
we won anyway.
Right? No, it was still
a counter argument.
It was, yeah, I know. It was still the right bet, but you can't.
I get it's the credibility.
You can't fucking put up 12-point bad lines and call yourself credible. So yeah, however that happened, guys. As far as I know, that's the first time I've ever done that. So once every 4 years, you give me a fucking pass. Okay, so I get that off my chest. Over 50.5, 150.5 in the Duke game. May call the cops.
I mean, you're going to go to overtime if Williams does not get the offensive rebound.
Right.
So I do agree that it definitely wasn't a fun loss for you if you ended up having the over. Is it call the cops worthy? I don't know.
Hey, let's find out, shall we? Let's find out what is call the cops worthy on the Hump Day edition. You know who you are. We're going to find out who took it in the shorts, who took it to the bank, who's a winner, who's a whiner. Get you out your phone. Call the cops. All right, let's get her rolled up here in the NBA. If you had the Hornets Timberwolves under 244.5.
I don't know how the hell this went over.
You made a great bet. Congratulations. They landed 216. Go ahead and cash that. I'm sorry, what now? Oh, God, we got to play another one. Well, you're all right. You got 5 minutes. They're not going to score 28 points in fucking 5 minutes or 29 points.
You need less than 29.
Yeah, you need 28's good. 5 minutes. Come on. 6 points a minute. Come on. No. They put up 30. Scott, can I interest you in 30 as the game landed 246. Congratulations. You had a winner. You had the right side. You capped it correctly. You did everything in your power to win that bet. But the basketball god said, "Niet!" And now you have to call the cops.
How the hell do you put up 30 points in an overtime? How does that happen?
A lot of threes and a lot of scramble would be my guess.
30 points in overtime. That's absolutely wild. But anyway, if you had some U.S. hockey against Slovakia, I believe the money line was around minus 160. They led by 1 goal with less than a minute to go. Slovakia pulls the goalie, and they tied it. And the U.S. not only went to overtime, they went to a shootout, and they lost.
Do you believe in miracles? No, I do not.
No, Slovakia won. To make matters worse, Canada also lost. So the U.S. might have had a serious run at a gold medal. if they were able to pull it out, but they did not, and you lost. So call the cops.
It was like K-State's run to the final. That could have been to the Final Four when they knocked off when UMBC knocked off the number 1 seed, and that was the bracket K-State was in. All they did was beat Loyola to get to the Final Four. And
I still remember having money on Kentucky to make the Final Four from that side of like 12-1. And PJ Washington, I think, missed like 15 free throws in that Kansas State game.
Heartbreaker. Yeah. Hey, if you had the Oilers Kings under 6.5, you were looking great. 2 goals heading into the third period. Can interest you in 5 goals in the third period, including the pièce de résistance, the cherry on top, if you will. An empty netter with 18 seconds left. Congratulations. You didn't win, but you did land on today's Call the Cops.
Of course, 5 goals in a period is brutal. I think the worst one has to be the overtime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 244.5.
Yeah.
Like, you're just on principle betting. Most people bet in the under.
We told you that last night. We're like, just you wake up and roll out of bed and go 244.5. No, fuck, I can't do that.
30 points in overtime is so absurd.
Because you really got screwed twice. That's what happened. Because number one, you got screwed because it didn't end in regulation. And number two, you had an unrealistic number that they had to get in overtime to get you there, and they got it. And so, yeah, you really got fucked twice in that. Congratulations. Well, for those of you that didn't get screwed twice last night, maybe you had a nice, easy time of it. Maybe it was nothing but clear sailing, as they say, because you, my friend, were sitting right where everybody wants to be. That's fat and happy and the lazy boy. You're snoozing in the rocking chair, aren't you?
So, the first one in the NBA, if you had the Clippers and Suns under 221, you had 100 points in the first half, so you're on good pace. And they scored 99 in the second half, so the game went under by 20-plus points.
And if you're down for some action with Kent State +8 against Akron, that was never in doubt, Scott. That Akron squad absolutely just... Oh, I'm sorry. Nope. Kent State up by 16 at halftime. Congratulations. They end up winning by 13. Akron zips. What the hell? But if you had Kent State right there, man, you were in the rocking chair.
I think that Kent State team might actually be a sleeper in the MAC tournament. They're actually playing really well right now.
What about Buffalo? What are they hung 200 last night?
Bowling Green defensively not exactly ideal, but they did score, I think, 112. So
yeah, I was going to say 110
well.
is what 110, 112. What? Jesus Christ! I mean, that
was an honorable mention for the rocking chair when it totals in the 170s and it still is in the rocking chair. You know that it's a good sign.
We had it at 166.5. It was a grid play, and we're like, I don't fucking love 166.5, but let her rip. Yep, sure as shit. There you go.
Well, the last one, if you had Hofstra -6.5 against Elon,
the half
led by 22 at halftime, and they won by 33.
The half, yeah, love the half.
They're very prideful people.
very. It's always Pride Week at Hofstra. All right, very good, guys. Very good indeed. We got to talk about this because this is one of my plays. This is if you guys have been listening to VEASAN, I've had a couple plays of the day over there, and this was one of those plays, and I was pretty happy about this, but I didn't expect it to end the way it did. Scott, sometimes you have to wonder. You just have to wonder. Are the odds makers? What's the deal, man? Are they drunk? So the Boston Celtics have been on quite a run. They've now won 9 straight. They squared off last night against the Sixers, 2-point chalk. I like the Celtics in that spot against the road. Sixers haven't played well since the trade.
But James Harden.
What's that?
James Harden was still out.
Yeah, James Harden as well. I mean, that just kind of goes without saying. He's yet to make his debut for Philadelphia. But the Celtics, Scott, they put it on them. Put it the fuck on them as the Celtics ended up winning by 48. How does that happen, my friend?
Well, you see, they scored 135 points, and the Sixers scored 87 points. So you do the math.
Math checks out.
And you win by 48 points. But real talk.
That's the kind of insight we pay you for around here, too.
I know that the Sixers were shorthanded. You can't lose by 48 points at home to a division rival. That can't happen.
By the way, Sixers, I went right in the face of this trend. Sixers had covered 6 straight in that series. And I said, yeah, fuck that. Boston's better.
It's good for them.
Yep, absolutely.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. All right, so let's
48 points. You see that highlight, by the way, of Embiid trying that Harden step back just to get blocked and for a shot clock violation?
Yeah.
Classic. Great highlight. Classic.
I was thinking of taking Fairfield this morning. First half -2.5, up to threes. 33-30 at half. Oh, yeah. I gotta play on that game.
Which one?
The Fairfield game.
Oh.
I got to go. I got the over there. I don't follow hockey. That USA penalty shot period was 1 for 10. Ugh. How bad is that, Scott? What's the usual penalty shot?
Very. So when it comes to penalty shots, I would say the average would be somewhere around, let's go with 33%. 1 out of every 3 sounds about right. I'm sure it'll be a little bit lower.
Okay.
But something like that ballpark. 1 out of 10's a mess. In the NHL, if you're a player and you are 1 for 10, and you have a percentage about 10 or lower, you're not going to shoot in the shootout. Because you probably have better options, but the entire U.S. team just was brutal in the shootout department. I would say the average is probably somewhere around a third.
Okay. All right. Very good. Lawrence Anthony wants to know, can I get a tip for the Genesis Invitational tomorrow that doesn't include DJ? How about Colin Morikawa at 18 to 1? You like that?
Morikawa, of course, is always a good option because of how good he is. I'm not going to lay it with Rahm at 8 to 1. There's no value there.
Nope.
Can't lay at 10 to 1. I can't lay either. Morikawa is tempting. Let me see. I'm not picking Scheffler. I just think it's too hard to win back-to-back. I think Hovland at 25 to 1 is worth a shot. I'm a big Hovland guy. I think that he's extremely talented. We know that he's still very young, so he could work on some things. But it seems like Hovland is very, very close to being a top, I'd say, 5 player in the world, at least in terms of talent. So 25 to 1 on Hovland does look pretty attractive.
About 45 to 1 on Bubba Watson. 7 of Bubba's 10 victories have come at 3 courses, and this is one of them. This is a place he likes to play. He's been playing a little bit better. You want to take a long shot spin? I don't hate Bubba at 45 to 1.
I'm also looking at Koepka. Koepka's, I know, had some injury issues. He looked pretty good in his last outing. So 35 to 1 might be tempting there.
Okay.
But I'm just looking at value plays. I'm not a guy who's going to lay chalk or pay the small plus prices for a golf tournament because that's just crazy. But I do think Hovland and Koepka at 25 to 1 and 35 to 1 respectively is pretty solid value in my book.
All right, and I'll get on board with Morikawa and Bubba. So, Michael Harbach said, "You're welcome for the McKinnon goal scorer last night. The only goal they scored, but what the hell? Absolutely, nice job, Mike."
I think I said on air yesterday I liked Crosby to score against Philly, and he actually scored. He scored his 500th career goal. I don't know what the plus price was, but Crosby randomly did score.
Crash Landon checking in. What up, Crash? Says he's getting my own farm play today with the Nets plus 4.5 and the Jazz minus the 5. Not gonna lie, the pick that I made for VSiN today is the Nets plus the points. And I will say this: I'm not picking the games. The games have already picked for me, and they go, here's the copy. We want you to write some copy in your own voice, and here's the game you've got a handicap. And today they gave me the Knicks Nets, probably my least favorite game on the entire card, college and NBA. So
I actually like the Nets in that spot in general. I'm a lot more, I'd say, kind on that game than you are, just because I'm not sure how the hell the Knicks are laying points. I don't know how you can lose to the Thunder with no Dort and no Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and you lose to Portland with no Lillard. They traded half their team.
Right.
And you're laying points? I don't understand that at all. I think the Nets plus 4.5, even the money line is pretty tempting. But I do think that you're looking at a spot where the Nets have a good shot to win the game. So plus 4.5 is pretty attractive.
Yeah, absolutely. Bronco Devil says I like to play daily matchups on golf. It is a lot of fun. We got a guy in our comment section, the Butcher. I think he's from Kansas City, actually. He does really well on golf matchups. You could do worse than tail him. The bad part is you got to get up early. You got to get up early to fucking get the picks in. So I never get him in because the tournament's already started. Zach Vaughn said I was nervous about the OU Texas game over last night until I wasn't anymore. Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. Midway through the second half, you're like, come on, boys, need to kind of pick up the pace here. And then all of a sudden they did. And it was good. Magellan Sports says, Jazz line seems like a trap. 79% of the action on them tonight. Well, that's a good question. We didn't talk about that game, but I was looking at that game earlier. What do you think?
Here's my play today. So,
well, break it down for us then.
I took Utah
watch two
solely
videos
on
with
the
you.
premise that Utah is a lot better. They're fully healthy. Gobert's finally back. The main logic or the main reason why I liked it, though, was the fact that the line went from around -2.5 to -5.5 on the overnight, and usually you're concerned about line chasing. But when there's a serious injury, at least a question mark involved, and the line moves that much, I think it's pretty telling. LeBron's questionable. He's been complaining about his need of the media for the last couple of days. It's the final game before the All-Star break, and the line moved 3 points. I was willing to gamble on LeBron not playing.
Reading the tea leaves.
Yeah. I think you can agree with that, though. You see that all the time, and I've mentioned it on Twitter a couple of times. There's a lot of last-second injury news where Shams or Woj announced that, Harden or LeBron are going to be out.
Mm-hmm.
And the line's already moved 5 points.
Yep, absolutely.
Like, people know stuff early on, and that LeBron injury news mixed with the line shifting so heavily on the Jazz, I think there's a pretty strong chance LeBron does not play.
Yep.
And if LeBron doesn't play, what do you think? Utah wins by 20 or 30?
I don't know about that, but I think they cover.
So that's why I took it.
Country Fried Corn Dogs, it's great to see you. And how about them Vols? Yeah, you liked them, buddy. You liked the Vols over Kentucky. Yeah, absolutely. They called that, and they blew them out.
I'm trying to remember the other game that I liked. I said that there were 2 games involving teams that were undefeated at home. Tennessee was one. I don't remember the other one.
Bronco Devil, you're not writing this shit down?
I don't remember the other one, but there were 2 teams that I said were undefeated at home, and I just couldn't go against them. And I think both of them won. I know Tennessee was 100% one of them.
1777 memorabilia says that the regular season right now for the NBA looks a lot like preseason. I kind of agree with that. I mean, I've stayed off a lot of the NBA this year, and I'm not doing terribly at it. I think I'm 7-5 with my NBA picks, but it just pisses me off with the injury news, and I hate going in with half a fucking gun and not knowing what's going to happen. So I've concentrated more on college this year than I have on the NBA. I've
done the opposite, because I do think that even though the NBA does involve a lot of questionable injury reports mixed with teams that don't care, I think there's actually ways to find value on it, because some teams just seem to clearly care more than others, whether it's motivation spots, whether it's just roster talent. This is kind of like the golden spot of the NBA season, where you straight up know who's tanking. And if you just fade the bad teams, regardless of number, you usually win a decent amount.
Well, okay, but I mean, it hasn't been that way. That's something that's happened since the trade deadline, because
it's been the opposite for me this year. I mean, last year I was all over college. This year, no matter what I've tried, it just hasn't worked. I've tried to change some things up. I've tried to take different plays. Just hasn't worked out for me. So the NBA has. I've kind of just been going that way.
And it was weird. My premiums were okay, but but even then I went through a cold spell with premiums, but the plays of the day were just shit, and then I just went to the grid, and we've been doing okay. Ninja says Gonzaga -32. That number sounds so ridiculous. We talked about this
for a road team, by the way.
For a road team, we talked about this as a bet the farm possibility. So let me just give you some numbers: 32. 23, 32, 28.5, 16, 14.5, and 30. Those are the numbers that Gonzaga has covered. So we joked about it the other night with Pacific about getting 32. And like, yeah, I don't see it. And they end up winning by 38. So I can't lay that, but I'm not getting in front of it. You?
I think it's a team total play. The total's pretty high because you're penciling Gonzaga in for, 90, like something like that.
Yeah.
If they score, let's just say for the hell of it, 105 points.
You're looking at a team total of 96, by the way.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe 96.5 or 97. That's what you're looking at.
Pepperdine ranks 47th in pace, so it's not like they're going to try to slow the game down. Gonzaga should, realistically, get to a hundo. They should, right?
No, I don't know that that's true because they've been doing it with defense, dude.
No, but I'm saying just offensively, they've still been killing it.
Ish. They haven't hit 100 in 5 games. They've put up 88 or so a game in the 4 since then, and they've covered the number every time. So I'm
You
more
gotta factor in the pace though.
I'm more interested. I'll take if I take them to cover before I take them on the team total over 97. No.
I'm just mentioning that I do think if they're gonna cover, they'll probably score a hundo.
I don't agree with that. I think it could be easily. I think it could be easily 88 55. I think that's a real possibility. So.
All right. Agree to disagree.
Okay, fair enough. T-Train says, I guess nobody cares about Bama, Mississippi State. Just took it over 150.5, or just took it over 150. Yeah, let's talk about that. A little SEC. This Alabama team, Scott, fraud or for real?
They're definitely not for real. I mean, they've been inconsistent all season long. I know what they are. The issue is I don't know what they are on a game-to-game basis. I know they're inconsistent, but you don't know which one of them is going to show up. They are very good at home. Mississippi State is 0-6 on the road. I faded them against Arkansas a week or two ago. They ended up not covering there. I like Bama on the side. As for the total, I'm a little bit torn on that one because Mississippi State is a pretty good defensive team. They're not a very good team overall, but they're 54th in defense efficiency. They also rank 296 in pace, which is really what I look at for totals because Bama we know likes to run. We know Mississippi State should probably try to slow the pace down. I don't know how they voluntarily get into a track meet with a team that's just better at track.
Yeah.
So I don't see that happening. I like Bama on the side. I don't really have a thought on the total. You?
I do worry about this Mississippi State team that's played pretty good defense lately. Seen four of their last 5 go under. And the one that went over, they gave up 64 to South Carolina. So
they also can't really score, which is kind of an issue.
I don't. Tony, I love you, and I agree with a lot of your picks, but I'm gonna lean under there. I think that 150 is just too tall.
I'm going with the side. I just think Bama should win that game by double digits.
See, and I have no interest in getting behind Bama. They're fucking 2-9 against the number in conference play, 4-8 at home. Nope.
Oh, they're a mess, but Mississippi State is is winless on the road, and they haven't been playing good ball.
I understand. I'm gonna pass.
Okay, fair enough.
Bama all day. All right. Yep. And there are a lot of
6.5 just sounds short.
Okay.
To me.
Okay. Fair enough. I worry that it looks too short. That's my problem. By the way, shout out to Mizzou, who again no-showed against Arkansas the other night. Nicely done, boys. At least they put up more.
Yesterday?
Or was that? Yeah, it was just yesterday, wasn't it? I guess they put up more than 49 now, so that's good. Put up more than 29 too. Yeah. They put up 55, 56, whatever it was. God damn.
Yeah, 57.
Well, at least K-State's playing good ball. They won by 30 plus in the last 5. All right. I get it. You guys love Alabama tonight. Absolutely.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, by the way, and guess that Temple 2-4-3-1 likes Temple against SMU tonight. What do you think?
Gonzaga first half. Yeah, I think that's the play. If you want to play this, if you want to play a side, I'd probably be more interested in the first half. Every once in a while they play with their food, but they haven't done that in a while, Scott. They've been getting off to fast starts. For a while they were very frustrating in the first half. But I think that's a solid play for sure.
Do you have any thoughts on that Temple game?
What's that? Any thoughts on?
Do you have any thoughts on that Temple game?
Who are they going against?
They're going against SMU.
SMU laying 5
on the road.
They're trying to suck you into. It feels like the narrative right now that SMU is kind of getting a lot of mileage out of that victory they had over at Houston. Temple isn't awful at home. I think that you would think that was going to be a letdown spot against East Carolina for SMU when they went on the road after their big home victory over Houston, and they handled the Pirates really well.
I mean, East Carolina is also 3-9 in conference play.
I understand.
They kind of suck.
They were seven. They doubled the number. They were 7-point favorites. They win by 14. So I'm looking at how they perform against the line. See, that's you look at who's on the bench and who's playing, and I want to know the numbers. I want to know what those guys are doing, and I think that's the fundamental difference between your handicapping and my handicapping. Is you do it more on a granular level with the players and the matchups. and I look at more from 10,000 feet, and I want to know how those players have been doing and how they match up against certain defenses and things like that. So, I'll take SMU, buddy. I'll lay the road number there.
I think I'm going to lean Temple.
Okay.
This game seems like it's just going to be close throughout. I see a bit of a grind.
Mm-hmm.
SMU might win, but I can see another one possession type game, which is unfortunate because yesterday I know both of us were leaning Providence. I said it would be a one possession game. It was for a large portion, and then Villanova won by 5.
Yep.
So I think this game will be close. I'll lean to the points.
James S. is very excited about Marquette. He's got it all in caps and exclamation points. So I think we have.
I'm not taking Georgetown.
I think we have to talk about that. You don't like.
Do you want to take Georgetown?
You don't like Georgetown, buddy?
I think Ewing's an abysmal coach. I said that a couple weeks ago. Have they won a game in the last month?
No, they haven't won a game, and I've got my grid. My grid only goes to the 7th without hitting another. Without refreshing it.
Let me pull this up.
So yeah, the 7th of January, by the way. So they definitely haven't won since before the 7th of January. I don't know what their last victory is. And more importantly, they haven't covered the number in the last 6.
No, they've been getting bodied.
They're bleeding points, dude. They're absolutely bleeding points. Yeah.
The last win was December 15th.
There you go. Yeah, I got to ride Marquette here. I think it deserves caps and exclamation points because they beat Georgetown at Georgetown by 28 back in January. So, you don't like to lay a ton of points, but I'll make an exception against this Georgetown team.
I don't know what Georgetown does well. The answer is nothing. So I'll go with Marquette.
Yeah, I'll tell you the play that, and somebody mentioned that Bronco Devil put it in there. Georgetown, about the Georgetown defense. Yeah. I don't hate the over there either. What are we getting for a number on that? I've got it.
154.5.
Yeesh. Fuck. Okay.
I mean, you're kind of just penciling Marquette in for about 85 to 90 something.
Yeah, and the Marquette defense hasn't been fantastic. I mean, they give up 80 to UConn. There's no shame in that. They give up 85 to Butler. There's some shame there.
There's a lot of shame in that.
That ain't good. Number was 132 there. Did it go into overtime? I didn't remember that going into overtime, did it?
I don't think it did.
I don't think it did either. I beat it by 32. Fuck. Yeah, just give me the pedal to the metal over there.
Yeah, I agree. And we got to talk about the ultimate home court underdog darling this season. We got Rutgers basketball taking on Illinois.
Yeah.
And Rutgers is getting 4 points. Here we go again. I mean, Illinois is clearly the better team. I don't give a damn. I'm going with Rutgers. I don't know how many ranked teams you need to beat at home as underdogs before you just start blindly taking Rutgers.
Right? Yeah, sure. Everything was seemed to be set up for Illinois. Illinois beat them by 35 when they played the first time. And as we've seen many times, that doesn't mean shit, either for the side or for the total. Illinois, kind of a team that tends to play with their food. They did it against Northwestern in a game that I had, by the way. Northwestern, fuck you.
It's so weird because Rutgers can beat Purdue. They can beat Michigan State.
Yeah.
They can beat Michigan. They can beat Iowa. And they somehow lose to Nebraska. They somehow lose to Maryland at home. So I don't know what the hell happened there.
Yep.
But I got to go with Rutgers, don't I? I mean, I don't know how many times on principle
Big 10
they
points.
can be dogs at home.
Big 10 points, buddy. Give me the Big 10 points at home.
Big 10 points, and Rutgers has just been so good at winning games outright against ranked teams at home.
I'm with you. And again, these are those picks when you make them, you know, when you back an inferior team like that, you know it can come back to bite you big time in the ass. But if you look at the trends, you look how they play, they haven't been afraid of the moment. They get fired, the fucking team gets fired up at home. And
they also beat Wisconsin in their last game on the road.
Coming off of 3 straight, man. Michigan State, Ohio State, and then Wisconsin on the road. Turning the line around by 16. 8-point dogs win by 8. So there you go. Got to be on the right side of rigging. Yeah, somebody talking about the games being rigged. That's what I always say. Maybe they are, but if I'm on the right side of it, I don't give a shit. In fact, I'm happy about it. So thanks, Mr. Walker. We appreciate it as always. Sports again. That's right, Carrot. Well, we talked a little bit of shit up top, but I don't know, man. Apparently you're busy. You got things to do.
We need to talk more about carrots.
Talk more about carrots. Yeah, there you go. All right, buddy. It's that time. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. Let's fire that bad boy up. Once again, kids, thanks for joining us today on the show. And I noticed the numbers going up here of our viewers, so it must be that time, everybody. It is once again time to put on your good hump day overalls. Climb aboard your John Deere, adjust your straw hat, pull out your keys with your lucky rabbit foot, and fire that motherfucker up, because it's time once again to bet the farm. All right, Scott, we did have a farm play for yesterday involving Texas and Oklahoma. How did that end up doing?
We ended up having the over, and it went over before overtime. But if you lightning bet it, you made a boatload of money.
Cue the banjos! Yeehaw! All right, my friend, we got a little player prop for tonight. What do we got?
So we're going with a matchup between the Pacers and the Wizards. And we like Halliburton, Indiana's point guard, to go over 8.5 assists at around -105. Since joining the Pacers, he is averaging 10 assists per game. Indiana's also been playing really well offensively, mostly because of pace. Since Halliburton got there, they've scored at least 113 points in each of Halliburton's last 3 games. Plus, Indiana, not exactly much depth at the point guard position. Brogdon is still out. Duarte is also out. So Halliburton should be playing at least 36 minutes tonight. The Wizards defensively, since they traded Dinwiddie and everybody, have virtually nobody. The overall Neto is supposed to be guarding him for a decent portion of this game. It's a good matchup. The pace should be there. Total's been bet up to 226 as a whole. We think Halliburton gets over 8.5 assists.
Drop them dimes, Halliburton. Drop them dimes. That's what we're talking about. That's going to be our bet the farm play. Little player prop action here on Hump Day. And that's going to do it for the show as well. Put another one in the can, guys. We appreciate you stopping by. As always, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do that. You know the drill. Listen to all of our offerings here on the Winners and Winers Sports Betting Network. And, of course, don't forget to check us out tomorrow. Special edition. It's the Elimination Chamber with Dave the Dominator Hess. As Scott and I will show off our extensive WWE knowledge that we have pretty much gleaned in the last 24 hours. So enjoy that. And then we'll do the same thing with NASCAR on Friday. Maybe we'll have a NASCAR expert on. I don't know. We'll see if we can get something cooked up there. But anyway, you guys have a great day. As always, don't forget to check us out each and every day, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, with Scott and I will guide you through the forest as we all attempt to head back to the window. Take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.